Your phone is probably the main source of dangerous EMF radiation in your entire life, and it's mainly because it's always so close to you. But thankfully, you don't have to ditch it to escape a lot of the dangers of wireless radiation. In this lesson, we'll teach you how to make some changes on how you use your cell phone to significantly reduce your exposure to the EMFs coming out of it. So the first step is some behavioral changes. Please don't store your cell phone on your body. I know everyone does it, but keeping your phone at least 1 foot away from your body whenever possible is a huge way that we can reduce the EMF exposure. Because EMFs decrease exponentially with distance, so even a few extra inches is going to make a huge difference to your daily exposures. Holding your phone in your hand is slightly better than keeping it close to your head or your body, but it's still exposing your blood and your body to radiation every single minute that it's on. So using speakerphone or wired headphones is a much better thing you can do. Even Apple recommends against using your phone against your head. And when they're testing phones for their exposure limits, they're always testing them with a separation to the head. So we never want to be holding this phone right against our head. You can also set your phone to automatically select speaker mode when answering calls. So refer to our downloads for a guide on this. Another strategy is avoid using your phone in poor reception areas. When we're in areas with poor reception, our phones pump up the power, pump up the radiation they're putting out to try and connect to a tower. So by simply looking at how many bars we have and only using our phone when we're in a strong area of reception, this is a great strategy that we can use to reduce our exposure. Another thing we can do is don't use your phone while it's charging. When it's plugged in, there's additional electric fields being pumped out. So simply just not using it when it's plugged in or using a power bank is something that you can do to help avoid your exposure during this time. So avoid wireless chargers. They draw continuous power and pump out EMFs all the time, even when you're not using them. So just a standard charger is your best bet here. Something else we can do is limit our use of phones when we're in the car. Now this is for a couple reasons. Firstly, in a moving vehicle, your phone is constantly trying to figure out where it is. So it's constantly pumping out radiation, trying to connect to every tower and figuring out exact location the whole time it's moving. So this increases the radiation we're exposed to. And secondly, in an enclosed car, we're in a small metal box. So those EMFs, they get bounced around and pushed back to our bodies much more so than if we were outside. So it's best to keep your phone in airplane mode. Enjoy some previously downloaded music or podcasts. If you have to use it, opening the windows and using it near a window is going to be your best option if you have to use it in the car. Now at home, considering a corded landline instead of these cordless handsets is a great strategy. The cordless phones, they are constantly emitting radio frequency all the time, 24/7. So simply using a corded phone is going to be a much better option than our cordless handsets that are so common. Now, changing your phone settings is really important. So switching to airplane mode is probably the best thing that you can do. Your phone is constantly transmitting radio frequency radiation, even when you aren't on a call. So whenever you don't need to be using your phone, switch it to airplane mode to avoid this continuous radiation. This simple step is probably the best thing that you can do to lower your daily exposures, especially if you're carrying it or if it's sitting anywhere close to you. Now, turning airplane mode on iPhones requires a few extra steps. After selecting airplane mode, you have to ensure that Wi-Fi and Bluetooth are both turned off. So check out our downloads for a guide on this, because sometimes they can be sneaky and keep those signals on. Also, you can even use GPS in airplane mode. Just turn your phone on so it gets its location in Google Maps or Waze or whatever you're using. And then as soon as you root it, turn it back onto airplane mode and it'll keep directing you there. It won't give you traffic updates, but it'll keep directing you there and you'll be cutting down on like 99% of the EMFs coming out of your phone. Another strategy you can do is turn your phone on 3G and not allowing it to connect to 4G or 5G. So 4G and 5G are going to use more power. They're going to pump out more radiation. So you can actually set your phone to stay on 3G, which can limit your EMFs by like 80%. So again, check out our downloads for a guide on how to do this. Something else you can do is use wired headphones instead of Bluetooth headsets. Now, if distance is our friend, AirPods or Bluetooth headsets that are right against our head are super dangerous. They're right close to our head. And so a much safer option is using a wired headset. There's even something called air tube headsets, which are even better. So they use air to transmit the signal instead of a wire. That wire can still allow some EMFs to travel up into our brain. But if we use an air tube headset, then it's going to cut out this possibility. So again, check out our downloads for some recommended products like this. So smartly using your cell phone can drastically cut down on your EMF exposure. These small changes in behavior and settings can go a huge way in protecting your health and the health of those around you, without having to give up the convenience that these devices give us. In the next lesson, we'll go over ways that you can reduce your EMF exposure from laptops and computers.